Hello, hello everyone. I am trying to get my audio working correctly. Hmm. Hmm. Hey everybody, how's it going? How is it going? Let's go. Let's try to make this go live. All right, Bob Seema, Elephant Leader Zoom, share to a group, uh, creative real estate. How is everybody doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic on this Thanksgiving week. Only me and Carly have our video on. I can always count on Carly. I love it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Oh, Mr. Felipe is here. How are you, Felipe? We are fresh off of Elephant Challenge. Not. It's been like 2 weeks. How you guys doing? It's all a new and improved world we're in. What with rising interest rates and with our fantastically lovely leaders suggesting we all go get COVID shots and test it again for Thanksgiving parties. I hope y'all are being safe, whatever that means to you. Elephant Challenge. I hope you guys really enjoyed last week's. Travis Banks was on here and gave us a master class in Privy. Freaking awesome. Felipe, don't need it. You have COVID now. Oh, brother, I am so sorry. Hope you're doing well. Hope you recover quick and hope you eat a ton of turkey and gain like 20 pounds like I'm planning on doing. Awesome. Let me allow everybody in. Cool. If you guys have any questions, you guys know what to do. Go to the bottom or whatever it is. If you're on a phone, I'm not sure exactly how to do it on the phone. I forget, but you just have to hit reactions and raise hands. And then I will see your hand and you'll be in line and I would be ecstatically joyful to answer whatever questions it is you guys have. Well, that was quick. Mr. Felipe, let me see if I can make this work in such a way where I can bring you up here. Give me 1 second. Spotlight. There you go. Let me do this too. Oh, look at this. This is amazing. Let me unmute you. And then
We're set.
there you go.
How are you?
There you go. I'm doing fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Finally, I've been seeing your name all over the place. Finally get to connect with you.
Yeah, how are you?
All is good. All is good. Um, yeah, I guess to start off, I'm rather new to reaching out to agents, and the limited experience that I have had, it seems to be a a struggle to get them to give me the information that I need to put together a creative offer and or uh do a three-way call with the agent and the seller so that I mean that would be my preference, right? um More often than not they're just like, oh yeah, just send an offer, and I'm like, oh, you didn't really give me much information at all. I don't want to be in the business of just sending a bunch of offers that have like a 1% chance of being accepted, So
Yeah.
how do you navigate that?
Well, first thing I like to do is I like to make sure that I'm looking at properties that have been on the market for a little bit.
Hmm.
It kind of softens people up a little bit to other options. If they're if they haven't sold yet and they haven't lowered their price,
Hmm.
because that tells me that either they're completely confused and delirious about what the actual price of the property is, or they really need to get that price because there's some underlying issue, right? There's like, I owe, this is how much I owe on my mortgage. I have to sell it for this price. So once properties are on for a little bit longer, it
Hmm.
seems to me like people are a little bit more open to listening to other options.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Do you know about, you do know, because you were there, I saw you. Pace has this color coding criteria about how to evaluate people,
Oh yeah,
right? And
he
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 talked about,
exercised he exercised that on me 2 days ago or yesterday
yes,
on the
I
daily
was there
dial.
for that. I was there for that. I think it was a fantastic education in learning how to navigate interactions with people. And the for the people who don't know, there's four colors: red, green, blue, and yellow. We're not I'm not probably not going to spend time going into all of that today, but yellow is the one that we all are kind of trying to push our conversations toward. Yellow is a person um, who you have a sort, even if it's you've just met them, you have a relationship with them already. You know, they're starting to open up to you. You're starting to, the conversation is starting to flow a little bit more naturally. Even if it's unnatural, like, you know, some people, they're not great conversationalists, they're introverted, whatever that is. Um, but if you can work and get to a point where you're having those kinds of conversations with agents, they're going to be way more open to telling you things. I also naturally can get to that yellow side really quick with people. And so usually like in the first 10 minutes, they're already spilling beans. Um, this is not natural for me. It took me a long time to practice, and I still screw things up all the time. And I always am thinking, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said this. And, you know, self beating myself up. But, you know, that's the point. We learn from our mistakes, we try to get better. Um, but it's almost all the time I'm having good success with getting getting those agents to start divulging information. Um, now, it wasn't always easy, you know, it took me a while. But if you one of the things that had made it a lot easier for me is um faking it.
Hmm.
Like, I used to really struggle with when they asked me, "Are you a wholesaler?" Like, oh, what do I say? And now I just have figured out what to say, and I act like I'm an authority figure on it, and it comes across in my tone. Tone is huge. Tone is huge.
Hmm. Um, on that topic of I guess calls to agents, where can I access I guess recorded calls to agents? Because I know that Caroline apparently has done two of those recently. I don't think she's posted either of those yet. I know when I go to the agents section in the vault, there are two calls that Pace made. Yeah, I listened to both of those, which were good. I'm just trying to access, I guess, a larger volume of calls so I can, have something to imitate, if you will.
Yeah, as a substitute student, you have access to the nightly dials, and Daniel Quijano is always open to go through agent calls. I've done agent calls with him before, so he's they can do that. I know the Bash Brothers will also. I had a phone call, like a personal phone call with Tyler
Mhm.
Townsley, and we just he started calling agents on the phone. So there's ways. There's you can listen to those. Fantastic. I think they're a great place to start.
Mhm.
But from what I've seen of you, Felipe, you're a
Uh-huh.
smart cookie. Just practice.
Okay.
Just mess it up. Like, what's the worst
Yeah.
that can happen? You know?
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, I think that my main thing is I've been calling stuff that hasn't been on the market long enough, and that's why I've been getting frustrated with the
Yeah.
lack of cooperation from the realtors, you know?
Well, exactly. And when they first put things on the market, they're not cooperative. They're like, "Oh, this is a great house. It's going to sell quick," because they've lied to themselves and to the sellers. Um, and what is it? It's like if they haven't had 10 showings in 2 weeks, like the chances of sale drop off significantly.
Hmm.
So I like to leave it, I'll do like 60 days minimum. Like it has to
Okay.
be at least 60 days on the market.
Even for creative.
Yeah, even for creative. Unless we're talking about like a foreclosure situation. That's a different beast. We're not
Yeah.
really targeting that in Elephant Challenge.
Okay.
Um, but if it's a straight just on market property that's been on there for 60 days or more, I'm calling them, and I'm probably going to offer cash at first. That's
Hmm.
what Elephant Challenge is about. We're offering cash for on market deals,
Hmm.
but my cash offer is going to be hecka low, like
Right.
50%,
Okay.
like just straight. I'm not 70% used to be maybe like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, a year ago. But in this economic climate, like all my buyers are telling me I need to see it at 50%. Some of them
Hmm.
are even crazier. They're like, I want to see 50% minus expenses,
Wow.
minus rehab costs.
Okay.
So that's a significant discount. So that's where my cash offers start, right?
Hmm.
If you're going to pitch creative, well, that's a whole different world. Now we can start talking about I can offer you full asking price if you're willing to meet my terms.
Right.
Here's 2 or 3 options.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna make that little tweak and then I'll bring you my feedback next week.
I love it.
Appreciate it.
You can keep talking to me. No one else has got a hand raised.
Oh, um, let's see what else. Oh, I just posted this in the Facebook group today. I haven't been able to check to see if anybody just replied yet, but I know that initially when Pace rolled out the Elephant Challenge, he spoke of every month giving us a new proof of funds. And I checked in Discord. There is a proof of funds in there, but it's from Best Transaction Funding. It's not his proof of funds. Where can we access his most recent proof of funds?
That's the most recent one that's been provided for Elephant Challenge. There's
Uh-huh.
also, is that the link where you go in and you type in all the information and it
It
pops one out?
so when I go on Discord, there's a section that says resources, and when I click
Yes.
there, one of the resources is the proof of funds, but that's like I said, it's the Best Transaction Funding one, not Paces.
Yeah. I whatever is in Discord now for Elephant Challenge is the most recent thing
Okay.
that's been provided to us. Let me
Hmm.
take a look and see. Um,
Yeah, I can tell you exactly.
so
Let me go to
let me let
another.
some more people in. Sorry, I keep forgetting to let people into my Zoom. Jeez, what a loser. Okay, so
Yeah, it's in the documents and resources, documents/resources.
yes, I see that. Let me look at, yes, documents and resource. Yeah, that's the most recent one.
Okay.
Um, and that one, is that the one? Just a second. Yeah, that's not his actual proof of funds.
No, it's
That's the
not.
place where you can go. But let me tell you something. So I've referred at least 4 or 5 people to this website, and they've all told me that it's been successful.
Okay,
They've been able
well,
to use it
with realtors.
with realtors.
Perfect. Okay, that's all I need then.
If you're running into issues with that, let me know and we can try to figure something else out.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked that is I was listening to a recorded Zoom where somebody said they used Abraham Grays with a seller, not a realtor, and I think it was a foreclosure situation, and for whatever reason they would not accept it. And Pace said, "Yeah, I mean, I love Abraham, but you got to use mine for
Yeah,
sellers."
for sure. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is you could go and get your own. Call up a
Yeah,
private money lender, hard money lender, and some of them will want, your personal whatever info.
right.
Some of them don't. Depends. We do have, so in the most recent Elephant Challenge, Pace talked about go and shop around the lenders,
Uh-huh.
and eventually you might find one who's willing to do like 100% financing and
Right.
not need your personal info, you know,
For
asset backed. So,
a hefty interest rate.
oh yeah, of course.
Right.
But when you're thinking about it, like spread over a year, it's really not that much. You're probably not going to be into it for very long
Right.
if you're wholesaling it, you know.
Yeah. Um, Also, I mean, I understand that the Elephant Challenge is calling on market stuff. I know that Pace provided the National Realtor list. I wonder if have you ever called that list? Because I tried calling that list. I uploaded a portion of that list for the Florida market, the Tampa area, and they were almost all landlines. And I know that Pace advocates double dialing the agent, and if they don't pick up, then texting them. That would be obviously impossible with just the landline.
Yeah,
Um,
you might have to skip trace some of those things,
okay.
or you just look, if it's an agent, you should be able to find their info online, just a Google search.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can definitely do that. I was just wondering if there was I guess a bulk way to do that, and the only way is through skip trace is what I hear, which is
Yeah,
cool.
through skip tracing, or yeah, call it one at a time. Um, but not that we don't have access to that list in Elephant Challenge. It's
Hmm.
just a list that has like all of the realtors in a specific geographical area. But what we're trying to do is, as you're finding properties on market through Privy,
Hmm.
you're finding out who the agents are on those properties, right? And then it's a
Right,
matter of calling them and developing a relationship with them
right.
in the hopes that eventually they would be willing to send you off market stuff,
Yeah.
before it gets listed, before they put it wherever. I mean, I'm having relationships like that already where they're sending me things before they get listed.
Hmm.
Knowing that it's going to get sold and moved much faster with me
Hmm.
than trying to find a buyer and listing it and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Um, and I'm getting agents who they're not supposed to be doing it, but they're willing to take cuts, significant cuts, just to get things off their books. And it's just a matter, that's what the market is.
Right. Are you doing the Kevin Cho method of using PropStream to filter for VA, FHA, which were bought less than a year ago and are on market?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the method. I have not um, done that, but it
Uh-huh.
is a great method.
Yeah. No, it is a great method. The only challenge is, it gets very few properties to pop up if you filter,
Yeah, it
using
is very
filters.
few. It is very few. And the goal is you just call them like every other day.
Uh-huh.
Um, you know, it's a very narrow beam, niche type of list, and you're going to get a few. It's not going to be many.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, you might get 10 or 20, and hopefully get one or two out of those.
Yeah, somebody told me to open that up a little bit and make it, that they purchased property 2 years ago or less, and not do FHA, VA, just that filter and on market. Do you think that would be too broad, or
No, it could be done.
no?
Try it.
Could be
Try
done.
it and try it and
Yeah,
report back. Let us
yeah,
know what happens.
because I did it and I was getting like, I don't know, 600 hits in like Tampa, for example.
Amazing.
Uh, yeah.
It's a great strategy to have fun with. Let's see. Carly says, I end up with life stories and personal TMI, which is great, but no deals yet. You can do it, Carly. I believe in you. Are you in DMV, Felipe?
So I live in Phoenix, but I'm visiting family here in the DMV. I'm in Maryland right now. I'm in Rockville, Maryland right
Okay,
now. Where are you, Carly?
perfect. I'm in San Antonio, but Carly was trying to reach out to you. She is a DMV queen there.
Yeah, I'll put my, well, I guess my number is already, I'll give you a ring. Well, might be a little too late at the end of this
Oh, there's
Zoom,
Carly.
but
Let me unmute Carly. Carly is a ray of sunshine forever and ever.
Yeah.
How are you,
Hi,
Carly?
doing great. Hi, Felipe. I saw your the area code of your
yeah,
phone
it's-
number, and so I'm in Baltimore. And like you, the whole agent outreach thing, it's also new to me, and I'm very guilty of procrastinating a little bit. I overly nest as far as business things go. Like, oh, maybe I need to get this in order before I make a call and things like that. So that's why I suggested if you were around, and we're calling agents in this area, maybe we could practice together. But that was my
yeah.
thought
I
there.
mean, we could do it over Zoom.
That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, because I need someone to kind of sit with and be like, no shiny squirrels, call the agents. And I have a few around that are interesting, some good firms that
hmm
say they're investor friendly. Not sure if they actually are, but it would be nice to just sit down and see how it goes and
yeah.
navigate or dumpster fire happens. At least we'll know.
Let's do it. I'm putting your number in my phone right now, and I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Hold on.
Awesome.
You're saying that you guys are going to squat up and tackle this together?
Yes, sir. Provide each other with feedback. Two is better than one.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Thanksgiving
me hit my
miracle.
button. Does this work? No, my button's not working. What's going
Are you trying
on?
to make a sound effect right now?
I'm trying to make a sound effect. It's not working.
I can hear it in my mind. It's probably the club one that's
Bummer.
I can do it for you. Which one you want?
Nothing yet? What a junk.
yeah,
Anyway,
your Zoom are a little quirky, aren't they? Stuff going on.
yeah.
Is that the free Zoom, Rob?
No, I don't have free Zoom. I have the nice upgraded account, but it's not doing anything interesting tonight for some reason. I'm having technical difficulties. Anyway, Miss Carly, what can I help you with?
Well, that's a weighted question, but real estate wise, um, I don't really have a whole lot. I've been making connections with some local folks and just sort of figuring out who is like whose goals are what and how we can work together to get there. But mine, I just kind of need to, like I was telling Felipe, just get in and start calling. And I'm really excited for the next Elephant Challenge with the multifamily. I think that'll be really cool.
Amazing. So are you making calls routinely? Are you keeping track? Like I made 5 calls today, I made 10 calls today.
No, I'm doing things that I don't really need to do. Like I went to that bot training that Pace shared. And I was like, Bob, this is awesome. This bot is amazing. I need it. I don't have a website. I don't have a Facebook page. But so that's where my mind is right now. I think my fear, I was talking to some folks today about this, is what if they say yes? Then what do you do? So that's kind of where I am. And also wanting to be the
So,
buyer of everything and just JV on everything. And I think that I'm a little nervous about wholesaling. It's usually not my in my nature to be salesy, but the fact that you can come up with different ways to do it is really interesting. So even something like that bot, for example, if you have the right marketing out and people could come to you instead of you calling like a crazy person. But it's also nice to have some practice with what doesn't work. Because I do own my house, I get people like, do you want to sell this? And the text messages are just a little rude or they have typos. And I usually just write back and say, hey, like I'm actually an investor too. I don't have something to sell, but maybe there's an opportunity to network. And it's usually crickets or, somebody has the wrong address or something. And so nothing yet, but definitely interesting to see kind of what other folks are doing and what feels right for someone like me who just isn't the super cool salesperson, closer, and just figuring out where everything fits.
awesome. Let me address some things here. Elaine, on the bottom of the screen, there's a reactions button and you just hit reactions and raise hand and it should pop up. And then you'll be put in the queue and I can see all the people who have their hands raised. At the bottom of the screen where it says reactions, you just click on that. That's number one. Number two, is that Miss Shakira in there? Asking electrician questions? Rough estimates for adding 10 can lights. I'm assuming it's a remodel. I don't know, like $300, something like that. Miss Elaine, click in there again. If I don't get back to you, please just remind me. I'll forget otherwise. I have the attention span of a 6-year-old.
Yep.
Miss Carly, you don't want to be wholesaling? Is that what you're saying?
I feel like the beginnings to maybe a means to an end type of thing, which I know that that's what Pace talks about as being the way. But yeah, sorry, I'm distracted too. Like my brain, my old job was in tech and software support. And I don't know if Elena's still looking for the how to raise your hand if you're on mobile. Mine is actually up at the top right. There's 3 dots and you can click on it and it'll let you raise your hand there. So if that's what you're asking, just wanted to address that real quick. And so no, the wholesaling thing to me, I think because being so new, jumping into everything at once, so Gator, Sub 2, Elephant, all of it, and then getting over my holdup of trusting people, because it seems like there's just a lot of rushing. We've talked about it in different groups, folks that maybe are well-meaning but just don't know how to really underwrite super well, and that's something that I really want to learn to do, and in a way to bring value to some of the wholesalers around here to say, well, let's work through it together and maybe we can see why maybe it actually isn't a deal and talk through it together. But that to me is building the relationship and not knowing people and then kind of just sort of bridging that. I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting out there and not thinking that everyone is shady and like building the relationships of the folks who are like-minded and wanting to be honest. So my avatar is, I guess Gator counts as an avatar, but I'm more of like a helper integrator. I've noticed I like connecting people. I like making sure everyone has what they need. But I don't know if that's a place to start necessarily if you're working solo. So that's kind of what I'm navigating.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you need more help with comping and underwriting?
I just need to practice more. I had gone through with Travis before, and it's a personal challenge because my inner seventh grader was very triggered. I always had to have math tutors, and I was like, no, I can learn this. I've done harder stuff than this. So it's basically just sitting down and practicing it, and just having someone willing to look over the numbers. But it's just all new. I want to learn everything all at once, and you just can't. So, but that's one at the top of my list to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. So Elephant Challenge is like a heck of a lot of stuff to learn. You know, it starts with, you know, it was a 3-day event, and then it was like drinking from the proverbial fire hose. But we need to step back and realize that there's a lot of skills that need to be learned in order to do wholesaling as a company, right? The whole process of wholesaling. So how do we find leads? How do we find these deals? I mean, that's a skill that needs to be learned. And then once you find a deal, you know, a lead, that you have to qualify it so it becomes a deal. And that takes a skill because you have to learn how to comp the property. And then after you find out what the property's worth and all that stuff, you have to underwrite the property and make sure it's actually a deal and it's going to cash flow by selling it to a fix and flipper or a buy and holder for as a rental. That's a whole nother skill to learn. Okay. And now that you have this property and you're convinced because you've practiced that this is a good deal, then you have to figure out how to submit an offer on it and talk to the agent and do all that stuff, which is a whole nother skill you have to learn. Right. And then you submit an offer and surprise, surprise, your offer gets rejected. Now you have to learn a whole nother skill, like how do I deal with this, right? And then something happens and by God's grace, your offer is accepted. And now what do you do? Because you're sitting on an offer and you have to figure out how to fund this and you have to figure out how to send all the paperwork. And I'm living in San Antonio and I locked up a contract in North Carolina. And the agent's like, well, I'm going to put a lockbox if you want to go see the property. I'm in San Antonio. What do I do? So I have to figure out, can I get boots on the ground? Should I get boots on the ground? Should I have a GC come out and look at this property? There's a lot of skills, right? And then I have to, once I get it under contract, all that stuff, I got to figure out how to sell this thing. I got to come up with a really good plan for dispo. Now, these are all extremely difficult skills for a new person in real estate to master. Like no one is expecting someone to learn all this stuff from the get-go, let alone 2 months after Elephant Challenge. Elephant Challenge is an intro, letting people know that, you know, I'm hoping I'm doing a good job with all these elephant things, showing you all these little steps in bite-sized chunks so that you can eat a little bit at a time of it and digest it and figure it out. But all of that to say, like, you should squad up. You should be looking for teams. You should be looking for other people to grow and learn with. You should get on the phone with Felipe once or twice a week and just crank out those calls. Be horrible at them. Hang up if you mess up and, oh, well, I'll just call the next one. Like, let's give ourselves, I think this is a mindset thing I deal with too. Let's all be okay with giving ourselves some grace and room to make mistakes and being knuckleheads, like Pace says, and totally screwing up a deal and having to cancel it. But those are all learning opportunities and we'll get better. Like, let's remind ourselves that some of us are only in real estate for the last 2 weeks. Like, it's okay. I tell the first Elephant Challenge, I had a person who was super afraid of making calls. Like, not talking to agents. I'm not talking about agents. Like, literally, what do I do if the agent picks up? Like, they were deathly afraid of that. And so I told him, listen, for this whole week, all I want you to do is call 5 numbers, push call, and then hang up. Like super baby steps, right? Like, I don't think it gets simpler. Like dial the number, press call, and then hang up. Like you don't have to talk to anybody, right? And then the week after that, just let it ring through. And if the agent pick up and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have the wrong number," and hang up. Do that like 5 times a day for a week. And then the week after that, just talk a little bit like, "Hi, I'm calling about this property. Are you listing it?" "Yes, I am." "Oh, I'm sorry, something came up. I'll call you later," and just hang up. Like the tiniest little baby steps will help you get through it. Right?
Yeah, and I completely agree. Like folks have been saying in the chat as well, squatting up, just calling, and I'm not even really afraid to call. I don't think that I've gotten clear in my own intention yet of, well, how much am I going to say? Am I going, because I'm very transparent. I'll say like, is it, if it's wholesaling or whatever, I have to let them know all the things, which can be confusing to them, but have been squatting up local. Actually, I got together a little group of folks who are at different levels, but similar mindset. So we had our first call today, and just
Awesome.
being around folks who are like excited to do stuff and knowing that I can fit in with their goals, whether even though I've got the most time of anyone, so I can go out and help to find the deals, and they've got the capital. So it's moving. Like it's just it's one of those things that, like you said, give ourselves a little grace. Can't learn everything overnight, and trying to tell my inner Baruch Assault who wants it now to just gonna wait, and things will unfold as they should. So
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
Let's, speaking of Thanksgiving week, let's just be grateful just because we have the opportunities to do this, right? I mean, we think about people around the world who are not anywhere near in the sort of privilege we have. We shouldn't take that for granted, and we should be grateful even for the opportunity to be. I mean, let's consider that like 10 years ago, having a video call with someone was absurdly advanced, right? And now we're carrying around computers that are more powerful than what they launch people into space with. So I think just a matter of gratitude is always good, not just because it's Thanksgiving, just daily practicing gratitude and being okay with making mistakes.
Yeah, gratitude is key. Something I practice
Yeah.
daily for sure. So absolutely.
Miss Carly, what else can we talk about?
Well, I'm happy to sit all night, but part of what makes me uncomfortable is taking up too much space and time in case other people have more pressing questions. So I know someone was trying to raise their hand to ask a question. So maybe if you'd like to
Miss
focus.
Elaine, I'm going to get to Miss Elaine.
All right.
Let me double check. Let me answer a few questions in the chat, and then I will pull Miss Elaine up if that's okay. Let's see. Elaine says she's brand new to everything. I will get to you, Miss Elaine. I promise. You're next. In fact, let me pull you up here. Okay, you're here, so I'm not going to forget about you. I promise. I answered electrical questions. This Zoom is awesome. It's a laid back Zoom tonight. It's Thanksgiving week. I hope, my prayer for all of you is that you go and gain 20 pounds from turkey and pumpkin pie, because that is what I am planning on doing. Legit. I'm not even joking about it. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Jamil has started doing Straight Outta Compton again every Sunday, and it's on YouTube. It's free. If you have any questions on my YouTube channel, last week, Travis Banks knocked comping out of the park. Like, you don't need to go anywhere else. That one video is a fantastic primer on comping properties, and it's on my YouTube for free at the Rob Sema. My handle is the same on all social platforms as the Rob Sema. You guys are more than welcome to go out and watch everything I have there. All I request is that you like, comment, subscribe, and follow, and let the team know that you guys are getting value from it. Yes, Wiza, is it Wiza? Says partner up with someone you can trust and vibe with, who you feel would be great working with. Absolutely. Of course. Pace gives awards for the biggest screw up. Oh man, I have done this month. I've screwed up a few things and I've taken imperfect action. And I am glad I did, but I'm still recovering. Let's have grace to, like, I messed up and I'm just going to take my time recovering just so I can make sure I'm good. I think that's helpful also. Dan Carter says agents are nice. I have a good time with agents. I am going to look in here and see. My friend is not here. Okay, that's okay. Awesome. Grateful. Yes. Gratitude. Attitude. Let's have an attitude of gratitude. Ben Martinez, what's up, fam? Yes, Carly, I'm going to wear stretchy pants. I'm wearing my stretchy pants right now. Just kidding. Awesome. All right. Let me clear this out. Let me get Miss Elaine up. Miss Elaine says she is new, so I'm going to push my little button so you can unmute yourself.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
Rob. Hi, everybody. Yes, I am brand new to everything REI. I'm sorry about the lighting. So I guess it was the end of September. My brother's neighbor said, hey, are you good on the phones? And I am. And so she was going to have me do cold calling. So since then, I met Pace and Jamil at the Boston meetup.
Cool.
Halloween weekend, yeah. So it's only been since, I guess, maybe October then. Yeah. So I want a T-shirt today with Brent Daniels had a live, and I was just asking questions. So I want a TTTP T-shirt. But before I go there, so on the Google Calendar that Pace put up in the beginning of the Elephant Challenge, so it lists when everybody's going to do a Zoom. So when you go to tonight's Zoom, you click on that link and you can't. It's not, there's a number off or something. So I did message the other Carly, I think, unless this is the Carly. No, I think it's a different Carly, McFarland or something. Right, okay, so I messaged Carly on Discord and I messaged Dawn on Discord and I sent support at Pace Morby. And so I don't know if that's maybe why the Zoom is small. So I cannot access only this Tuesday night Zoom with you, Rob. I cannot access it through the Google Calendar. So Dawn, and I told her, and so Dawn sent me a link. So I don't know. I mean, I've done Zoom enough. So all I'm seeing on my screen is participants, chat, and share or leave. So, it depends on how you log in. But this is the only way I could get in. That's why I haven't been here, is because I haven't been able to log in. So I don't know if you have any pull there, Rob, that you can say, hey, it's not right in the Google Calendar thing because there's a list, everything, all the Zooms that for the baby elephants. So anyway,
I've had problems with Zoom for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know what it is. I've submitted new links like every week, but tonight is serendipity and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's still not in the Google Calendar's link. And so whatever link Dawn left for a private message in Discord, that's how I was able to get in here tonight. Anyway, so as being brand new, I'll just jump in and get started. Okay, so I mean, it's going to learn geometry or, whatever. So you have, so I really, I've talked to an agent who happens to be a friend of mine, and so when I don't know, like where I didn't even know what REI meant, 2 months ago. I now know PML means, because the woman who introduced me to this is a private money lender broker. And so I was like, cool, because I've worked online, I've, mindset, I've had my own MLM, whatever. And I checked, she's not on here. So I was so excited I'd be able to squat up with somebody right here, 10 miles from me. But major anger issues, it's kind of scary. So that kind of knocked me off, that knocked me down, because I've worked multiple businesses online, and it's so great when and she's all excited about it, but it's scary. Like I can't drive anyway. So squat up, and I'm in Maine, and Privy, I've got Privy, and Privy isn't in Maine and New Hampshire yet. But I lived in Arizona for 9 years, 8.5 years. So I've got connection, boots on the ground there in southern Arizona, Sierra Vista, Tombstone area, who could actually look at properties if I wanted to do that. But again, where I don't know the verbiage and where should I start? I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have capital. But I want to do this. I have my own business. Everything's under the table. It's no LLC, personal touch cleaning and gardening. So I take on customers who nobody else wants to have. Like right now I have an 80-year-old guy, and nobody wants to do it. It's too personal. And I mean, if I go into your home, I'm cleaning your home, I'm going to know more about you, because I'm in your bathroom. I know the deodorant you use, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, but I'm 62 years old. I'm not going to be, you can't see it, but my pinky, I just squished it between two rocks, putting it, because I do gardening too. So anyway, we're, like I said, brand new. No, I know what AVR means. I know what comping means. I've been learning big time through all of these great leaders out here who are sharing. And I want to squat up with somebody. I have contacted and talked to people in my area on the phone. Where should I start?
Adriana here. Miss Adriana here. Miss Adriana, were you on yesterday morning Zoom? Let me unmute you. Hold on.
Hi.
Hi. I love seeing you.
I was trying to sneak in.
Were you on yesterday morning Zoom?
Yes, that's the one with Paste. I missed it. I was so upset. I missed it.
No problem. Elaine, Miss Adriana is, not only is she a San Antonio local, but she's like sub 2 mama.
Okay.
What? What did you say?
You remind me of like my older sister. But you're not that much older than me. I think we're pretty close to the same age. But whenever I see you, my stress level goes down.
Oh,
Aw.
Really
so
appreciate it.
sweet. I don't know what I did.
It's just the whole demeanor, it's like Adriana's here. I don't think I've ever once seen you upset, like mad. Miss Elaine?
Adriana, you dropped a link in here, Adriana.
Yeah, that's the link to my Zoom. You can keep that, copy it, and post it, and it'll take you to where you need to be. Adriana also started.
That's for
for Tuesday nights. Adriana also started pretty much like at ground zero. Like, I don't know what PML means. I don't know what ARV means. I don't even know what is wholesaling. What? What?
I don't know.
No problem. Miss Elaine, I'm gonna mute you because you're having a bit of feedback issues. I'm getting a lot of noise. There you go. I'll unmute you and I'll ask you a question. How do we start? Where do we start? Privy is a fantastic place to start. Let's remember, I'm assuming that you watched all the Elephant Challenge videos that just occurred. Where we start with Elephant Challenge, let's understand the concept of Elephant Challenge. Maybe that's a great place. Elephant Challenge is wholesaling of on-market properties. So what does wholesaling mean? It means that we're not trying to buy these houses to live in them or to rent them. It means that we're trying to buy, just like you know, you mentioned MLM. It's similar in the fact that you're trying to buy something at a lower price and turn around and sell it at a higher price. I hope that's pumpkin pie, Adriana. Oh my, cheesecake? Oh, Mama, ¿quieres tres leches, por favor?
My second one.
Oh, I'm so glad you live like not too far from me. So that's what we're trying to do with wholesaling, right? We're trying to buy a product lower and we're trying to turn around, add our fee to it, which is what we call assignment, our assignment fee. So we're gonna take that product, add our assignment fee and sell it at a higher price. Now, there's obviously things in there we got to figure out. We have to have an assignment fee that's reasonable. We can't be charging $1 million assignment fee on a property that's only worth 100,000. There's just some logical things we have to understand, right? So how do we find those properties? Privy is a great way to do that. What kind of properties should we be looking for? Well, like we were talking earlier with Felipe, we have to, number one, we have to switch off that little part of our brain that says, this would be a great house for me to live in. Oh, I can see my kids living here. Okay, we're not approaching this business as homeowners, as people looking for a home to live in for ourselves, or what we would call a homestead, a primary dwelling. That's not what we're doing. We're approaching wholesaling this business with the eyeglasses of, this is a business. I need to buy product at this price and I need to sell it at this price. Okay. So in order to buy product low, we need to find a little bit of a pain point. Now that pain point can come in various ways. It could come in the fact that, for example, Adriana and I are in San Antonio. In San Antonio, we have a large population of military folks. And we're also the regional hub for the South Central Texas medical, whatever it's called. There's a big medical complex here. Now we get a lot of people who will move here and they'll buy a house and live in it for a year or two, and then they'll get relocated or they'll get reassigned. And so they need to sell those houses. So that could be a pain point where it's like, my job reassigned me, I got to sell, right? Another pain point can be, I'm thinking about foreclosures because I have been dealing with foreclosures this whole weekend, where I am in default. I'm in default on the house. I need to get out of the house or else I'm going to be foreclosed on. I'm going to have to go to bankruptcy or whatever it is. That's a big pain point also, right? So we're trying to look for that pain point. It can come in various ways. Our job is to find what that pain point is. The problem we have, not problem, the advantage we have is that we don't have to spend a lot of a lot of time with sellers on the phone. Here's why some people think that's an advantage. Here's why some people think that's a disadvantage. Does anybody know, put it in the chat, how many contacts you have to make with a seller, with a homeowner, before they'll turn around and sell to you? Felipe is really almost on it. Average is between 8 and 12. So imagine having to call a seller between 8, 12, whatever that number is, a significant number, in order to get them to give you this information a little bit at a time. And there's strategies, right? But for someone like Robert, I don't call my wife 8 times a week. Okay, I am not going to be spending a lot of time on the phone trying to get information out of people. So the advantage Robert has is I don't have to do that. I just call an agent, right? 2 things why this is beneficial. Number one, the seller put their hand up and said, I want to sell my house. And they went and got an agent who is representing them, who has more information about the house, and I can get to that information much quicker. When I call an agent, I have built, because I have those reps in of calling an agent, I can typically get to the information I need to know pretty quickly. I don't need 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 touches before I get to where I need. I can get to that in a 20-minute phone call, right? I can get to the information I need really quick. I need to know how much is on the mortgage, what's the pain point, why are they moving, how much do they actually need to walk away with, all those basic things that you need to know. It can be done pretty quick. To me, that's an advantage. Now, people can see an agent there as a disadvantage because agents are not always, and no disrespect to agents, but I'm trying to disrespect you a little bit so it provokes you to learn. Agents aren't always the most, I don't want to say smart, because that's not what I'm meaning, but they're not always like the most learned when it comes to strategies beside just that cookie cutter, list the house, make my 3% and move on to the next one. That's what 99% of agents do. Just because they have a license doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. It means that they're able to pass a test, right? We have an advantage where we're exposed to creative and to these methods of talking to agents where we can get what we need really quick, right? We can get to and because we're also using Privy. Remember, Elaine, Privy is an amazing tool, and it lets us know lots of little detailed information for us to be able to make a determination. Now, what is this determination? It's back to the product. We want to know, what can this product potentially sell for? If this product is all fixed up and made nice, right? We look at all the other products that are in the same neighborhood, all the other houses that are in the same neighborhood. If our product was at or equal to those other products, here's the number it can sell at. We know that it might need a certain amount of repair work. And we can talk about that. How do we determine rehab costs, right? So we have our after rehabbed, after repaired value. We determine our rehab costs. And then we determine also our assignment fee, right? That change from, we want to buy it at this price and we want to sell it at this price. Now, I want to make a little bit of clarity because sometimes this is not understood. We're not selling to end buyer, homestead buyers. That's not our goal in Elephant. Our goal in Elephant Challenge is to sell to typically 2 kinds of people. Number one, they're either going to buy and hold this as a rental, or they're going to take this property and rehab it and flip it. They're called fix and flippers. So either buy and hold or a fix and flipper. That's who our buyers are. So wholesaling is we're buying a property at a low price. determining all those numbers, the repaired value, what the rehab is gonna cost us, our assignment fees, taxes, all that stuff. We wanna build as broad of a picture as we can about a property when we're comping it. That comping means we're comparing it to other properties. And then we're determining what our purchase price will be of that property. So in order to determine that price, another name for that number is maximum allowable offer. We want to determine what is the maximum that we can offer for this product so that it can eventually touch this price point when we're trying to sell it. Okay. I'm going to unmute you now. Adriana, I'm going to unmute you too. If you have anything you want to clarify, Adriana, please do so. Elaine, if you have any questions about what we've discussed so far.
No, that's, yes, so I understand all that. So with Privy, so I can go into, for example, the Arizona area, and I know how to find the buyer and or the seller. And so what I need to do is so is my question. So what I need to do, for example, find homes, because it's listed where I can find who the buyers are, contact buyers and see what these buyers, what type of properties they're looking for. So is that where I could start by, because I mean, I've been learning from Pace and Jamil and Jerry Norton and Brent Daniels. And so I'm getting this. I watched the Elephant Challenge in July, August, something like that. This one, and I'm signed up to do the next one. So I'm guessing that's what, because I can't find, Privy doesn't have anything in this area yet. It's not in their system. So I'm guessing to get off the pot, that's what I need to do, is I need to start calling buyers and build relationships with buyers.
Yeah, we can. Do you have a market picked out for sure, or do you want some coaching with that too?
What do you mean, do I have a market? I'd love to do like pre-foreclosure.
No. Do you like a city? Do you have a city picked out that you're
Yes, I do.
And it's one of those Privy preferred cities.
I haven't gone on Privy to look because I haven't gone Privy to look in that area yet because I was stuck because I'd like to buy a home, a buy and hold right here in Maine. So instead of just being stuck on that, I just need to get up and I just need to do it. So I just need to start making calls. I wanted to know, who do I build a relationship with first? Buyers that are already previously have bought, which shows you on Privy who's bought. And so do I who do I start building a relationship with, I guess is what I'm asking. So I find a place in Arizona that I'm interested in that area, and find buyers who have bought in that area. And then it doesn't even matter. Buyers will buy anywhere. Wholesalers,
So buyers will not buy anywhere. We need to be very specific about where we're finding properties for buyers. Buyers are not going to buy anything in Podunk, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Right. People want to be where other people are. So we want to buy where other people are, where there's lots of activity happening. And Privy will show you where the activity is happening. Here's what I recommend for people who are just starting out. Similar to our discussion earlier, like there's a lot of things to learn. I would recommend that whole piece about calling agents and dispoing, let's leave that aside for a little bit. I would recommend learn how to find a property, learn how to comp a property, and learn how to underwrite a property. Those three things. Find a property, comp it, and underwrite it. Do you understand the difference between comping and underwriting? let me, just a second. Let me, you don't have to mute yourself. It's okay.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know about the background noise. Yes, I've watched. I know the process on how to comp. I don't know what underwriting is.
Okay, here's how I like to define it. Comping is where I look at this property and I comp it to all the other properties that are around it. I want to look at properties that are rehabbed already, that are not rehabbed already, that are similar to the current condition of my property. What could my property potentially come out to? Those are what comparables are, trying to determine that number. What is that number of what my property could become? Now, we got to be careful because we might see that all the other properties around us are at the same repair level as our property, and there's no one rehabbing in that whole area. Now, is there a potential that maybe my property could be $100,000 or $200,000 more if it was rehabbed? Yeah, but if no one's rehabbing in that whole area, it probably is not wise for me to rehab in that area. I want to be in markets where there is actively fix and flips being done, because that lets me know that there's investor activity and that would be a good area to be in. Okay, that's comping. Now, once I've figured out all my numbers, I have to think about my buyer, right? How much is my buyer going to spend in rehab? So remember, we talked about the two different kinds of buyers. We need to consider both of them. Number one, my fix and flipper, how much are they going to be spending on rehab? How much is this going to cost? How much is that going to cost? How much time is it going to take them? What are those costs that their holding time are? What is their holding time cost? All those little things we got to think about, right? Conversely, for buy and holder, we got to think about, can this person rent it in this condition? How much is this person going to be paying in principal and interest and taxes and insurance, HOA fees, solar fees, all these little things? Because they're thinking, how much can I rent this out for? What are my costs going to be, including management and all that stuff? How much profit am I going to making? This process of understanding the deal and the end buyer's plan with the deal is what underwriting is, right? I'm taking a property that I've determined the value, but now I'm underwriting the deal to determine if this is actually a deal that makes sense, right? Are there people who buy properties that don't cash flow? There are, but it's very, very few, and it's a very, very specific buyer pool. The majority of buyers want properties that are going to cash flow. So if your principal and your taxes and insurance and all that stuff adds up to $2,000 a month, but because you're a great comper and a great underwriter, Elaine, you've looked around and you've seen that properties in the area rent for $1,800. You've underwritten. Is that a good deal? Well, this is not a deal for the majority of people anymore. It's negative $200 cash flow. So do I spend time? Here's the biggest problem. Do I spend time trying to redo all the numbers and trying to make this deal flow because I've already, no. My suggestion is you need to set some KPIs, key performance indicators, some numbers for yourself. If you go back to some of the videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I spent 2 hours comping and underwriting a property, right? You need to practice to get repetitions in, reps in, so that you can comp and underwrite a property in 20 minutes, right? You should be able to look at 5 or 6 properties a day pretty easily, right? It shouldn't be one property takes you a week to underwrite and comp, right? We need to move these numbers faster. We need to get through those things quicker. Did my screen freeze? My screen froze. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Let me unmute you again. Is there any questions about that so far?
No, you're all great. Thank you so very much. KPI, key performance, what's the I mean? Indicator? Indicator. No, I really appreciate it. It's because I have been absorbing all this knowledge. So everything you've talked about, I have, I've seen comping. So it's just a matter of me doing it is what's up now instead of, yeah. So I know.
This is what I tell people who are completely new. Learn how to find the property, learn how to comp the property, learn how to underwrite the property, and then bring it to someone in sub 2 or someone who's a little bit more familiar with the program. And we can help you structuring offers. We can help you with with talking to agents and so on. Look, Felipe is dying for practice to talk to agents, right? If you're comping and if you're finding things that you're like, hey, this is a deal, and you bring it to Felipe is going to love getting on the phone with agent and saying, hey, I got a deal. Let's move on this. Right? Now you're creating a conveyor belt, a pipeline where you're focusing on skills. And then when it's time for the baton to be handed over, you have another person who is focusing on specific skills, right? 1 + 1, you're going to do better. You're going to do better that way.
Great.
For the new person, there's a little bit too much skills right at first. There's a lot of little bite-sized things you need to learn.
Right. So it's time because I have been learning for about 2 months now. So it's
That's
time
learning.
for me to take action.
Now it's putting what you learn into practice, and you can learn all about pottery from books, but until you throw a piece of clay on the little whatever it's called and it spins around and you get your hands dirty, you're never going to know.
Right. No, this is awesome. Thank you so very much. Thank you for going over that with me.
Yeah, I play guitar and I can tell you all about guitar, but unless you pick up guitar and develop some calluses on your fingers because you've screwed up so many times, you're not going to really know.
Right.
So that's what
You're
I
the
recommend.
best. I'm so
Yeah.
glad I was
Later
finally able to
on.
get on.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. Later on,
Thank
you
you.
can learn about like, hey, let's call agents and here's the number of agents we should be calling per day and per week. Here's how many LOIs we should be sending out. At first, yeah, it's going to take you a few days to do one, but then you should be able to get to the point where you're comping and underwriting a property in 20, 30 minutes,
Okay. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you.
I love it. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to raise your hands. If you have that option at the bottom where it says reactions, raise hands. Otherwise, yeah, reach out to people in the chat. Look at all these amazing people here. I love it. It sounds like Adriana left. She went to go drive to my house to bring me some cheesecake. Love it. Okay, deal finders, yes. Yep. Send out LOIs. Yeah, we can talk about all that stuff. The only thing that we can't really do on my Zoom, because it's at 7 o'clock Texas time at night, it's not always a great time to talk, to be calling agents. But feel free to reach out to the other elephant leaders. If you're looking in the calendar, there's Zooms throughout the week. Some of them, I know Dawn Walker, who is always in here helping me out. She's not here today, but that's okay. I love her still. She does Zooms like once or twice a week in the middle of the day, and she would be happy to practice with you, get those reps in of how to call agents. If that's the part you want to focus on, she's awesome with that. Everything else, how to structure deals, how to send out LOIs, how to comp and underwrite, I am happy to help you. If you guys want to go over that, if you guys have examples of properties you're looking at and you want to throw them up here and have us comp it live, super happy to do that. Reach out to me during the week. I'm available. My handle is the Rob Sema on every social platform you can possibly think of, but I don't use them all. I prefer Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Discord. I'm in Discord. If you guys need anything, just DM me and I will be happy to help. If you have found a property and comped it and underwritten it and now you need help, I'm happy to like share the love and get as many elephant leaders involved as possible. It doesn't have to be me, but I'm happy to help out. Let's see. There's still, there we go. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything you guys want to go over? Thanks. I see people clapping. Awesome. Thank you for that. If you want to, you can go into my YouTube. I have Zooms from last week and the week before that are all comping and underwriting. Oh, I got some questions. Let's see. Let's answer some questions. Let me do this. Let me add my friend Anthony. I'm going to hit the unmute button.
Hey, what up, man? You hear me?
I can hear you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, man. What's good, everybody? Hey, man. So I just want to say what's up. You know, I'm brand new to this in your little Zoom for the first time. Rob, nice job. I dig it. It's going good. Man, yeah, I want to reach out and say hello in person on the phone or on the Zoom. Hey, what's up? You know, but yeah, man, I've been experiencing a lot of growth lately on just understanding the structure and what's going on. I know I sent you a crappy couple deals the first time we talked.
No problem, man.
And I was like, okay, I get it. I get what's happening here. I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm learning.
Cool.
But yeah, I think I'm getting better. I'm understanding I understand the principle of what we're doing a lot better now. I've watched a lot of those fat juicy deal videos, and that's great concept, man. Great idea. I think it's a good place for me to start. So I guess I had the question I had was if I'm doing LOIs, you know, if I'm sending out LOIs and I'm talking to people and I'm finding these deals, or not deals, potential deals. They're just suspects, right, at the moment. But I'm finding these potential opportunities. Like I haven't ever sent an LOI out before. So, I mean, you just mentioned, hey, if you have any trouble with that or you want some help on that, what would I do? Just like literally send it to you first or send it out and then contact you and be like, yo, I got this LOI that I just sent out, or how should I approach that? Because I don't want to send it out there and then, you know, like be kind of fumbling the ball whenever it comes back to me.
Yeah, if you want to work with me, you know, bring me the property and then we'll send out the LOI together. I'm going to make you do it.
Fantastic.
So you learn how to do it.
Okay.
Let me, I'm trying to, my computer's a bit slow for some reason. Let me try to see if I can pull up an LOI. What market are you in?
Dallas Fort Worth.
Okay, so you're in my market.
Yeah, I live in Tyler. I live in
Out.
Tyler, Texas, but I found that out real quick that, you know, even though it's my backyard and there's places real close to me, that's not the concept. So I think I'm over that. I'm over that little hump that I had to figure out. I'm over that I had to figure.
Okay, so yeah, letter of intent. LOI means letter of intent. I want to take a step back for a second and talk about LOI. An LOI is not the contract. It's not the purchase and sale contract. Why would you submit an LOI? Why would you submit a purchase and sale contract? I'm gonna talk specifically to Texas now because I'm the Texas guy. I'm in DFW. That's my main market. I live in San Antonio. I also do stuff in San Antonio. In Texas, we have complications, right? What do I mean? The way we handle earnest money or EMD, earnest money deposits, EMD, the way we handle EMD is a little bit different. EMD is generally non-refundable in Texas. So there's ways around it. One of the ways is to offer what's called an option along with our EMD. Typically in Texas, our option is $10 per day. So that means if I want to, during my inspection period, right? Because I want to have an inspection period that I can inspect the property. If during my inspection period, I want my EMD to be refundable, I need to attach an option to that, which is $10 per day. That's standard in Texas. Standard is also 10 days. So if I want to have a 10-day inspection period in which I'm going to get my EMD refunded to me, if I cancel, I need to put down $100. Some agents don't like that. Some agents say, if you want an option period, it needs to be $250. It just depends on the agent. Is it a rule that you need to do option? No, but you can treat it as a rule. The agents treat it as a rule. If you don't do an option period, it's assumed that you're not going to get your EMD back. EMD in Texas is assumed to be 1%. Unless something is different and the agent specifically says, and you guys negotiate it, it's assumed that it's 1%. Okay. The other thing is, the option fee is non-refundable in either case. So that $100, $250, whatever it is, it's never refundable. Okay, so that means that what happens if you're submitting 10 contracts a day?
$1,000 at minimum.
That's $1,000 that is potentially non-refundable to you. Okay. In order to skirt this whole process, we don't start with a contract. We start with an LOI, with a letter of intent. If we submit an LOI and the agent agrees to it, we even make them sign off on it. There's a little sign area. Then after the LOI is accepted, we'll turn around and submit a contract that's based upon the agreed upon LOI. Everybody tracking with me?
Yes.
Cool. Now you asked, how the heck do we fill out an LOI? Okay, let me work on trying to find an LOI. I think we have one in.
I see the contract, excuse me, the letter of intent on the Discord under document
In
resource.
the Discord, right? There it
Yeah,
goes.
it's in there and I clicked on it and I mean, I can easily figure out how to fill it out. I think, I mean, I haven't done it yet, but just looking at it, it's pretty straightforward. But I feel like I'm not the type of person who wants to have my hand held, but I'm also not the type of person that wants to jump in blindly. Like if I've got leaders around me that can do this, that have done it, I'd prefer to have leadership that like, hey man, let me show you what's up. Don't do this, do that. This is how you should structure, write this out or do whatever, so that if I could benefit in any way to make life better for both of us, that's what I want to do instead of creating problems on your
Absolutely.
end.
Sometimes, let me also explain a little caveat about in Texas. In Texas, agents are not allowed to dual represent.
Okay, yeah, I heard that on a video today, as a matter of
One
fact.
agent, a single agent cannot represent both seller and buyer. There are ways to circumvent a little bit of that. You have the broker, the principal broker kind of intervene, blah, blah, blah. But just for the most part, they're not going to want to, just assume that they can't do that in
Gotcha.
Texas. If that agent is like, I need your agent, I need an agent to submit stuff to me, then you come to me. I'm not an agent, but I can put you in touch with agents that I prefer that are in Texas that I know can handle creative options and all that sort of stuff, right? So the LOI, you're right. It's pretty straightforward. Let me see if I can just do one of these deals. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I got this. So I can do this. All right. And I can do, oh, not that one. Let me close this out. All right. Look at that. Man, we're hitting the 21st century. You guys all see my screen now?
Yes.
The LOI. So this is the LOI that we have in Elephant Challenge. Maybe I can zoom in. There we go. Look at this. Modern technology, people. Come on. Put the address. Put your LLC here. This is the key right here that allows us to assign it. Okay. Submit this letter of intent to the current owner. You know what I didn't talk about? Let me back up a second, okay? Let me back up a second, just because I want to make something clear. And maybe Elaine will benefit from this too. We're not actually buying a property. You understand that? We're not the ones who are actually, as wholesalers, we're not buying a property. What we're doing is we're taking a property and putting it under contract, right? We've done our number search, we've done our crunches, we've done all that stuff. We're getting that property under a contract. What we're doing as wholesalers is we're assigning that contract to another buyer. We're selling our right to purchase that house. That's what a wholesale is. That's what assignment is. We're assigning our right to purchase this contract to another buyer. Everybody clear on that? Everybody following? Yeah, Mel's right. LOI, it's on Discord and the documents and resources. So just be clear, like we're not actually buying something. So to make sure that we can assign that contract, that's not always a given. In fact, some agents will tell you, you can't assign this contract. We're not gonna sign the contract with you if you're trying to assign this to wholesale it. Agents are pretty savvy sometimes too. They know what you're trying to do. My suggestion is be clear with them, be upfront with them. I'm gonna wholesale this. Honesty is the best policy usually. So that's why, let's go back to our deal here. That's why this verbiage is in here. After review of the information provided, my company and or its assignee. That is the person that we are assigning this contract to. Okay, that's why this needs to be in here or else you can't assign the contract. Unless, for example, like in Texas, we use what's called the TREC, the Texas Real Estate Contract. And in the TREC, it has language that allows you to wholesale, but always double check it. Whatever state you're in, double check that you can assign your contract or else you can't wholesale. Now, see, there's caveats, you know, there's caveats. You can't, I'm not 100% right there because the truth is, if the contract doesn't allow you to assign it, you can still do what's called a double close. You actually close this contract by purchasing it. I'm going to unpack this for a second, but then you're turning around and selling it, usually an hour later or 2 hours later, or at the same time of signing, depending on who your title agent or who your, closing attorney is, whatever state you're in. So we're actually closing that contract and we're opening another contract with our end buyer and selling it. That's called a double closing. You can see why. It's pretty clear, right? So those are situations, they're a slightly more advanced, more nuanced, because you have to consider that you actually have to close on a contract. And that means if you locked up a house at 140,000, or I'm throwing out a number, you have to bring $140,000 to the table. You have to close that contract legally. Like, has to be legit. That's called a double close. That is becoming more common because people hate wholesalers. It's just the truth. Adriana wants to say something. Hold on. Let me bring Adriana. I see Adriana laughing her butt off.
That was too funny, but everybody hates wholesalers. So
Is it true?
yeah,
Come on, man.
actually, I joined a mentorship prior to this one, and I was looking for as to your what you were saying earlier. When I was in the other mentorship, they just kept saying, just get it under contract, just get it under contract. And I, like many people out here, were like overthinking, like, but what do I say? And I don't even know how to fill out the paperwork. All of these, da 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 da. And so I processed within myself that, again, back to what you were saying, that I said I need to learn how to comp and I need to learn how to underwrite, because I want to know whether a deal is a deal and try to figure out whether I want to spend my time with it or not. So that's how I found PACE. But once I got into the mentorship, I thought that was the first time I had like Elena was saying, my first intro into REI, right? And I thought, oh my God, like I found the secret, right? And the minute I got in, it was wholesale everywhere. It's like that whole thing when people say, nobody has this car, and the minute you buy it, everybody has it, right? So I kind of like the connotation of the wholesaler, I started getting that bad taste in my mind that I didn't even want to associate myself as a wholesaler. And God bless you. And so it's funny that my first deal, I actually wholesaled.
Yeah.
So I know that y'all want to ask a lot of questions, and we have them. I'm right there with you. I've had them, and I understand that, when we're doing the elephant challenge and we're saying, just call and we don't know what to say, it puts us a little off, because innately, and if you're anywhere near my age, I don't know, Rob, I think you are younger than me, but I could be wrong. We've had this ingrained experience professionally of, you get a new job, they train you, and you get to know, and then they hold your hand and everything until you know everything. Then you know what you're doing. And so coming in and having somebody say, just call them and just find out these things. Actually, that is the first thing, which goes back to what Rob was saying, is if we just find out if there's a motivation there, then we can figure out the rest. We don't have to answer. And sometimes I call and I'll say, hi, I work with some investors, and my job in this circle of life that we have here, or I don't know if it's in the circle of life, but in this wheel that we do, my job is to find out, to go find properties that we can potentially go and make offers on. And so I just needed to find out some information that I can take back to them. So if you don't mind, just wanted to talk to you. So I took away, because I went into the call putting a lot of pressure on myself, thinking I'm an investor and I'm a professional and I should know all these things and they're going to expect me to be, because that was that past, ingrained thing. And I just became inquisitive and just became asking. And it's funny that if y'all really think about it, if we were looking for a car for ourselves, if we were actually buying a house for ourselves, if we were doing anything to help our parents or our kids get the best deal, we would be asking questions. And you just need to kind of tap into that and just say, hey, I'm just calling about this house to find out, what's going on with it. Like if I wanted to buy a house, and going back to the Cho method, that kind of really resonated with me. And so finding something days on market, it becomes obvious, like, well, why is it not selling? And we know because we want them to tell us, well, the market has been this or the other. And if they say, well, they just want their particular price, they're not desperate. I said, oh, okay, cool. So do you have any other properties? Or, if it comes to the point where it does become an issue for them, let me know. I could love to plan B. I don't go in for the kill anymore. I used to, and this was a thing that we have within the Sub-2 community we have some mindset stuff. But one of the things that I learned that I'd like to share with you guys is that when you're picking up the phone call, don't have it in your head that I got to make a deal, or I've got to get them to this place, or I've got like a result. You just, one of the tips was, one of the coaches says, just have a cup there. Just have you could have 5 pennies, but just every day, just say, I'm just going to get 2 pennies. I'm just going to make 2 calls. And all you're focused in is, I need to put 2 pennies in that thing, into that cup. Let me just make the call. Whatever happens, happens. But I made the call. I dialed the number, I pushed call, and I said, hello. Put a penny in there. And so then it becomes like your drive, your result is just that I need to get 2 pennies in there. Then it becomes, you get the focus off of that other thing. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if it's resonating with anybody, but so that's kind of what got me out of and I joked about this in the Daily Dow. When I used to work out, I had anxiety about working out. I was here at the house, but I would push play. But and so I would say, oh, I gotta sweep first because I'm gonna slide, or I gotta go put a load to wash, because while I could be doing 2 things at the same time, I'm being efficient. And oh, you know what? I'm right about to do it. And you know what? It's time for this. I got to get this. And finally, I was just like, okay, I ran out of excuses. And so finally, I would just look at that dumb DVD player and I pushed play. But it was something that the minute I pushed play, I couldn't stop it. Like it was going. It's like almost like being on a treadmill or the car's moving or whatever. You can't stop. So what I would do is, like I mentioned to you, I recorded my calls. So I had a MacBook, and so I would use the voice memo recorder, and I would hit record. Well, I would have my phone number ready with the agent's number, and I would have it ready to go. Everything's ready. So I hit record, and then I'd look at it and I push call, and if it started ringing, I couldn't stop. I had to say, hi, this is Adriana, or, hi, how are you doing? And I fumbled, and y'all heard me on the Elephant Challenge. It just, I was telling Elaine, I was like, oh my God, when I heard the recording later, I could have just died hearing all the ums that I said. I used to be really critical of Tim Duncan. Why does he say so much? He should know whatever. And I was the queen that day, but I did it, right? And every time we do it, every time we put a penny in there, pat yourself on the back because you did it. And it just gets a little bit easier. So I don't
Exactly.
remember all the stuff that you're talking about, but I did a little bit of a vomit. Sorry, hope it helped.
Of course. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Totally. I mean, I'm the same, right? Like, I kind of threw myself out there for this whole elephant challenge thing, and I screwed up a bunch the first ones, and you just learn and you get better, and eventually people talk to you like you know what you're doing, but most of the time we're all just kind of faking it, right? But that's how we learn. You know, you're talking about how you come up with every excuse before you eventually start doing the thing you want to do. The thing that we need to focus on is like, oh man, I didn't end up. Just work on minimizing that, compressing that time. Like, get through those distractions faster, or learn how to eliminate those distractions. You're gonna have them. Like, we're human. Like, we make up stuff all the time. Like, oh, I can't go work out because my ear hurts and it's 5 degrees too cold out, so I can't wear my hat, and I can't go to the gym because my car's empty. You know, we make excuses. Let's compress those. Let's get rid of those distractions, and that's how eventually, that's the process of what we call discipline, right? So yeah, Mel has a point. You know, seeing other people make mistakes kind of is like, well, if they can make a mistake, I can make a mistake too. And no one came and chopped your head off, Adriana, for it. Like,
That's
think
right.
about it. What you were deathly afraid of, right? You did and made all those mistakes, and people were like ecstatic.
I know.
That was so awesome. You know, we were freaking out about it, and like, what is everyone gonna say? And everyone was like excited to see us make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I knew
Reframe our thinking a little bit.
I was really breathing. I was like, okay, I would pace through there. I just was like, it was reminding me like when we're parents, right? We get our kids and like, okay, we're gonna throw you in the water. Like, he threw me in the water. I just had to swim. But you know, I didn't drown, and we're not gonna die. That's the thing. We're not gonna die from the call.
Yeah.
They don't even know who we are. They don't even know what
Exactly.
we're like.
Let's go back to what we were talking about earlier, like having a perspective of gratitude. You know, let's have a perspective like, how bad, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, they block me on their phone. Like, what's literally the worst thing that can happen?
Do
It's
you
so
guys listen to Les Brown at all? You know who that is?
yes.
Yeah, he says in one of his audios, he says, you know, people think when you get told no, that somebody's going to slap you in the face. It's like, you know, nothing like that ever happens. You just take it, you know, take the no and you go on to the next one. So I liked your Zoom call. Actually, I watched that. It had me rolling for a little bit because I was like, man, that is so real. You know, it's like so real when you're put in a spot like that. You fumble, you trip, you really don't know what you're doing, but you're learning and you're moving forward. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was good content. I know that for sure. And you're growing for sure. I can tell.
You could see me slowly looking away from the camera, like, stop looking at me.
It was good stuff. I liked it. It was good. Yeah.
You know,
Thing, though, our biggest critic, honestly. And
Yeah.
go to what Rob said, you know, when we give ourselves grace, that's really the only one we need it from, because we're the ones that are beating ourselves up.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone else was grateful and thankful and changed by watching you screw up. If you wouldn't have screwed up, people wouldn't have changed. People wouldn't have come to the realization like, man, I think I can do this. Like, she made mistakes, everything's fine. Like, maybe I can do this too. And if you wouldn't have been out there and done it, even if it freaked you out, right? Like, people's lives change because of it. So we're changing the world here.
That humbled me so much, but I think it was even more surreal that that I have like a deal. It's like it's closing this month, but sometimes even I used to think, oh, well, they have a deal, they've got 2 deals or whatever, so they must be got it all down. And so y'all can see that I got the deal, but I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get better. Like I said, I'm not there. I'm still new. I'm still learning all the stuff. I'm still raising my hand, asking a lot of questions. And Rob is spot on. I was on the first elephant challenge with him, and he would hear me ask, these questions, and like, I posted in our Sub-2 group one time. I probably should post it in the creative finance group, but I used a gift from the movie Big. Hopefully all of y'all know what movie that is. I don't feel that's doing, but the part where the boyfriend is like explaining the toy, and he's just like, I don't get it, and that literally was me sometimes, like I don't get it, but you just keep asking and keep asking. Don't worry about questions or raising your hand. That's what Rob is here for. I'm going to try to get in a little bit more often, to help out, or to, be something, help however I can help. Or just to be the example that y'all need, that it's okay to ask questions. Nothing is dumb, and that's the only way we're going to learn in taking that step.
Check out what Elena wrote. Oh my goodness. Who am I to not show up? How dare you not show up and make mistakes and give other people a chance to learn from it? Dang, that's good.
Wow.
Adriana, I love seeing you. Thank you for being inside, Adriana.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your step forward and volunteering and doing this. I know it's a labor of love, and I hope all of you guys appreciate the time that Rob puts in, because it does. It fills him, and it fills me, to help you however I can. Fumbling, it fills me that it filled you out, that it meant something to y'all, that it helped y'all in any way. Then I'll fall on my face as many times as you need me to, if it'll help
I
you.
love it. What a great Thanksgiving call. Jeez. Thank you, Adriana.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Anthony, let me go back to the LOI, man.
Oh, no, it's good, man. I'm taking notes over here. And the last thing you were talking about, I was trying to understand what you were talking about. I heard the double close, how you have to pay for it cash, the first close, but then the second contract, you're buying another contract, or you're selling a contract.
Okay, the double close. So you found a buy. Typically, you're doing a double close because usually it's because the agent doesn't like it, or something's going on,
Okay.
or you don't want. One of the reasons could be you don't want your end buyer to know how much you actually bought it for. That could be one of the reasons.
Okay, so there's several reasons you do it.
Yeah,
So it's not typical. It's not a typical, it's not standard for sure.
it happens often, but it's not like the default. There has to be a reason for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and assuming the more and more I see it, the more I would realize, hey, this is going to be a double close situation. I'm going to have to bring all the cash to the table when we close.
Well,
so I have to know that ahead of time.
Don't tell you'll get the hints from the agent, like this is not a signable contract, or typically in Texas almost everything is assignable because it's in the TREC, but sometimes there's situations where that's not happening. And for example, I'm trying to deal with Open Door, that big
Right.
company.
Right.
They're selling houses like at huge discounts, but they specifically say this cannot be assigned. And so the only way to wholesale that is to double close it,
Close it.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
So I was
so
on a Zoom
know.
yesterday. Oh, go ahead.
You'll know that you need to double close it. Yeah. And it's not like you need to bring, for example, I'm going to tell you, like, you shouldn't be the one bringing those funds to the table. Have a gator come in and provide that transactional funding for you. That way you're not out of pocket anything. And that way you're also spreading love. Like you're getting other people involved in the deal. You're getting extra eyes on it because they're a gator. I'll underwrite everything. I want to double check your numbers. I want to make sure the deal's good before I fund something like that. So don't be like, oh man, they're going to take a piece of my cut.
No,
Yeah,
no.
they're going to take a piece of your cut, but it's all about sharing love. Like I hope this community is like teaching you like there's plenty to go around. I love to have as many people as possible on my deals. I'll have so many people on my deals that the agent will be like, seriously, please stop adding people. Like, don't put any more. I had like 8 people on a deal once,
All right.
8 different people. And yeah, we all split a little chunk, but I'm at the point now where, don't get me wrong, like it's Christmas is coming. I need to buy stuff. I need money, right? I got bills to pay too. But my number one priority right now is story. I buy things to bring to Gator, to bring to you guys and be like, hey, check out this deal that, I mean, I totally screwed that up. Here's what we did. Here's how we messed it up. Here's how we can do it better next time, right? That's my primary driver right now, but I'm in a different place. Go ahead. Ask me what you need.
Oh, no, that was it, man. Just the other part, the closing the contract and then you're signing it again. You're buying another contract, selling a contract. I didn't catch that part. And I don't know why it's confusing. It probably shouldn't be. But you're assigning the first contract, selling it. So then the double close, you'd be assigning a second contract and then selling it again. So you're basically essentially you're signing one, selling it, assigning
So
another.
you're
one.
not, there's no assignments in double closing. You're technically buying a house and then turning around and selling a house.
Okay, so you're not wholesaling it at that point. You're basically buying it and selling it for profit.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not assigning. It's the
yeah,
same thing, but
wholesaling
you're not.
is double closing. Double closing
Yeah.
is a wholesaling strategy, but it's not the typical assignment of contract.
Okay, gotcha. So then the second, you're selling the contract.
In the second one, you're selling the property that you just purchased 10 minutes ago or an hour.
Not the contract, but the property.
The property, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. So yeah, okay, that's what threw me off. Closing a contract is actually buying the house.
Yes.
Right, okay, that makes sense. Closing the contract is buying the house and then selling the property. Duh. Okay, got you. Makes
Yeah.
sense now.
It's like a normal process of buying a house, but then you're just turning around and selling it.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And you have to be like, one of the things we don't really talk about a lot is, I mean, it's a little bit higher. I mean, you got to consider tax implications. This isn't a situation where you're, buying a house, living it for 2 years to bypass those capital gains tax. This is a business you're running now, and you're going to be taxed as earned income. That's what this is. So
Right.
consider having, a good team of CPAs, an attorney, it's wise to have those contacts at least in your Rolodex.
Got you. And now you were mentioning too earlier, you said that every contract, whenever you do LOI, not contract, excuse me, every LOI has a fee, $100 to $250 fee. Is that something that we're responsible for? Because you say like you do 10 a week, that's $1,000 a week. Who's responsible for that capital right now? Us as the deal finders, or not deal finders, the property finders, like, hey, we're looking for a property. We're going to pull it in. It's going to cost $150, $250, depending on whatever the agent and you agree upon, I reckon. And then
If you're in Texas,
yeah,
there is no fee associated with the LOI.
there is none in
No,
Texas.
that's why we do the LOI, so that we don't have to pay that option fee on the contract.
Thank you. So, okay, got you. I don't know why I missed that.
Yeah, for the contract in Texas, when you do a contract and you want your EMD refundable during the inspection period, you submit that option fee.
Okay, that's the EMD fee, right?
Yes, the EMD plus the option fee.
Okay,
If you
got
do the LOI before submitting a contract, then you don't have to do that whole option fee thing. You're
That
submitting
makes sense.
LOI, the agent talks with the seller, they agree upon it, then you formally submit a contract with EMD with option fee.
Got you. No fee associated then with the LOI.
Correct.
Okay, got you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Cool, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good to finally meet you face to face, man.
Yeah, likewise, brother.
Take it easy. I'm gonna answer Felipe and then we're gonna call it Thanksgiving week, you know? We're gonna call it good. I'm pushing the button right now. There you go.
I got you. Yeah,
Perfect.
it'll have been a well-deserved Thanksgiving week for all of us, right?
Oh man, I have to go brine a turkey tomorrow.
Luckily I'm just gonna be eating mine on Thursday. Anyway, so regarding the double close just now that you guys were discussing,
Yeah.
when you're doing a deal with a realtor, is it not possible to have the buyer's funds close the A to B contract?
I don't do it that way. I'm sure anything's possible. The only thing you got to consider is that that could alert the realtor, right? If you're in a situation where you don't want to alert the realtor,
Right.
they're probably gonna be like, where did this come from? This is
Right.
not your name. This is not your company. So,
Okay.
you know,
Just cleaner.
yeah. I do it
Okay.
with Gator. I do it with Gator funds because I'm a
Uh-huh.
Gator and I need to I use it for experience,
Right.
you know, so I just have a Gator do it.
Okay. And then as far as the EMD, when you're working with a realtor, will they typically accept for you to insert into the LOI that the EMD will be deposited at the end of the inspection period?
Almost never.
Almost never. What about like, I don't know, $1,000 of the EMD at the beginning and then the remainder at the end of the inspection period?
I think it's all technically negotiable.
Uh-huh.
But in Texas, they're not gonna take you seriously.
Okay. So what, and what amount of EMD is typically required there?
1%.
1%. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Right.
I'm doing Gator funding on a deal right now.
Uh-huh.
They locked it up. They locked up the contract at 1.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they needed 1% of that as EMD.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much at any price point, 1% is expected. Now,
Standard.
there's situations where that's not necessary. For example, like everything's weird with foreclosures, right? Foreclosures are
Uh-huh.
like a whole different beast.
Right.
So foreclosures, because people know like this is a make or break, either you're gonna sell me the property or you're gonna be screwed for the next 7 years. I'm only gonna put down $100 or whatever. But
Yeah.
foreclosures are a different world. We're not doing foreclosures in Elephant Challenge. We're not really talking about that sort of thing because it's too far in the weeds, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
too overwhelming.
Right.
There's still stuff I don't understand about foreclosures.
Right.
Sometimes those things are. I have a guy for everything I possibly think of. So like if I have a foreclosure question, I'm calling Alex Sanders in San Antonio. If there's a foreclosure in Texas, he knows how to handle it. And I'll just be like, Alex, I found a foreclosure. give me 50% of it or give me 20%. I don't care. Like, I just don't want to deal with foreclosures because I don't have that bandwidth. Like, I have so much stuff on my plate. It's like, let me pass it off to you. I'm happy with like a 10% finder's fee or whatever. I just don't, I don't do foreclosures. Now that's
Right.
changing a little bit because there's a lot more coming on my table, like foreclosures.
Mhm.
And some of them are pretty good for buy and holding. So never say never, but you know,
Right. And then also, that Gator clause that allows, especially in states like Texas where EMD is non-refundable. Do you insert that into the LOI or after the offer gets accepted?
after offer is accepted. And I inserted like in 3 different places.
Okay. I mean, how is that acceptable though after the offer is already accepted?
Well, LOI, EMD doesn't really have anything to do with the offer. Like EMD is EMD.
Mhm.
And then when we're negotiating, I don't negotiate it. Like, it's gonna be in the contract or else we're not gonna have a deal. It's a non-negotiable.
Right, but I mean, the LOI lays out your terms and, the EMD is included in the LOI.
Yeah, but it's included as a line item, right?
True.
That's it. That's all they need to know.
Okay, so once offer's accepted, then you just do an addendum, I guess, with that Gator clause.
So once LOI is accepted and we're ready to submit contract for seller to sign, that
Uh-huh.
clause is included in there. It's included in the instructions to escrow, irrevocable, whatever it is, instructions to escrow. It's stated there. And it's stated in the JV agreement I have with the wholesaler who is bringing the deal that they need funding for. So I put
Okay.
it's in 3 different places. Like,
Okay.
everybody knows. And the TC, because I use the TC on all my deals, transaction
Mhm.
coordinator.
Right.
The TC calls escrow, title company, whatever, lawyer, whatever it is, double checks, talks to them, like, hey, this is written here, it's written here, written here. I want to make sure you understand. And then I will also call title and whatever it is and be like, double checking. This is what it says here. This is what it says here. This is what it says here. This is only
Mhm.
true for Texas. Every other
Right.
state, not every state, but majority of the states, you don't have to deal with this.
Mhm.
These states that are mutual release are the ones that you have to deal with this.
Right. And then if you are doing a creative deal, if I were to do a creative deal, I would get a TC involved. So would the TC then, I guess, negotiate with the realtor, whoever the realtor's
No.
representative is, to structure the paperwork?
So all negotiations are your responsibility.
Mhm.
Putting all the paperwork where, it needs to be is the TC's job.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Like, for
Um,
example, I'm doing a Gator, the one I just mentioned.
uh-huh.
It's the first time this is happening. Gator is still brand new, right? So
Right.
I'm getting into some weeds here. This is a little bit advanced. It's not counsel for everybody. It's a big deal. And the wholesaler is using a company, a dispo company.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So dispo companies have not really worked with Gators because this is a whole new planet, right? The
Right.
whole Gator thing. And
Yep.
so we're trying to negotiate, is it better for us to have a contract where all 3 parties are on the same contract as JV partners?
Mhm.
Or should there be 2 contracts, one between me and the wholesaler and then one between the wholesaler and the dispo company,
Right.
right? So my TC, the way they originally did it was they wrote paperwork between me and the wholesaler, and that had a lot of lending language in it.
Mhm.
I was like, we can't do that. I'm not a lender. I'm a
Right.
partner. So we need to restructure it. So we restructured it. So now there's a contract everywhere on my contract with the wholesaler where it said lender, he changed it to funding partner.
Okay. Gotcha.
But that's
Uh,
way in the weeds.
Yeah. Well, since you did touch upon Dispo there a little bit, how does Dispo change, when there's a realtor involved, if at all?
You're gonna have a little bit of a harder time trying to sell to bigger buyers who are more interested in margins. They don't like necessarily on market stuff all the time. It's more the mom and pop type shops who are better buyers for on market deals.
Okay.
And it's a matter of they'll say, well, I get better margins with off market properties. To which you respond, what's your buying criteria? Well, I'm buying at 60% of ARV. It's like, okay, if I can bring you an on market property that's at 55% of ARV or 60 or 50 or whatever, and it's a great deal, would you not buy it? And it kind of gets them thinking, like, maybe, well, I
Right.
would if it was that big of a discount. Okay, well, I can bring you properties at 50% of ARV.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'd look at them. Okay, well then let's do it. But
What
most of them
about-
don't want to deal with the agents, and so you might have to double close on some of those.
What about on actually showing the properties to the buyers? I mean, are the agents going to be present there, and what sort of I guess risk might that? Well, I guess because we're going to be forthcoming with the agents say that we're going to wholesale, it's going to eliminate that risk, right?
Yeah, and I always try to get them to put a contractor's lockbox on there so that boots on the ground can go check out the property, take pictures, and I try to get the agent to take pictures and videos and stuff, and I also prefer properties that are vacant. That's
Mhm.
me personally. That way
Okay.
it's easy for stuff like that to happen.
Right. I think that's
Cool, Felipe. It was nice to see you again, man.
yeah. Awesome, man. Appreciate it. This is great.
I'm gonna finish up with Adriana. So awesome. All right, I see Scott. Let me ask. I'm gonna hit my unmute button so you can unmute.
Hey, can you hear me?
There you go. I can hear you. What's up, sir?
All right, super quick one. You actually responded to me in the Discord about it today, and I just wanted to maybe clarify a little bit more verbally. It might be easier, but trying to partner up with some sub-2 students with some sub-2 on deals. And I'm coming to a lot in Texas, especially that have the down payment assistant second lien on it.
Yes.
I know that was mentioned in the last elephant challenge. One of the calls Molly did, there was a down payment assistant loan, but it wasn't in Texas. So I know you said executory contract is the answer. That's about where my knowledge ends. From what I see, contract for deed isn't allowable in Texas or hard to do. So just, I don't know exactly. I know I involve a TC and whatever partner in a deal, but just in terms of presenting it to the agent, I'm not sure how to tell him we handle that part of it, because I have a couple of different leads right now that have that situation, and I've told them executory contract, but that's about all I've got to offer them.
You're trying to wholesale those properties?
Yeah, in that case, I'd be wholesaling to the sub-2 student I'm talking to. So,
Well, if you're are you trying to wholesale it like as a creative deal? Or are
yeah,
they gonna
trying to structure it on sub-2, and then me personally wholesaling that to a sub-2 student that wants to hold it.
Okay, so they're not buying cash, they're buying creatively.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you need an executory contract, because the reason is because those down payment assistance programs typically have like they call it a seasoning period or something like that for 4 years or 5 years, something like that. And then Pace has, I think, a video about that executory contract thing. I haven't done one directly, Alex Sanders has. Alex
Okay.
Sanders is the guy who does like all the weird stuff like this. This is weird. You know,
Mhm.
it's not the standard thing. It's super niche. I refer to Alex.
Okay.
But I know it can be done. You just have to have a TC make sure that it's done in a way where you're avoiding certain verbiage.
Okay. Sounds good.
DM me.
And I mean, they're smaller second liens. So I mean, if the sub two student wanted to just pay it off, like most of them are 8 to 12 grand. So I mean, it could be part of your, entry fee, just, but it's more cash out of pocket if you can keep it 2 more years and not have to, come up with 10 grand more cash to close it. Then
Yeah,
it seems more appealing. But if it adds too many layers of complication, I don't know, maybe it's easier to just pay off the second lien and just do the sub two on the primary. But all right, I'll
DM me.
try.
DM me and
What's that?
I'll get DM me and I'll get you in contact with Alex Sanders.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you for all of this.
I'm happy to help.
Thanks.
Take it easy. Let's finish up with Miss Adriana. I'm ready to go. Let me hit unmute. There we go.
Feel like we were playing tic-tac-toe. I just wanted to say a few things just to help clarify a little bit. I know Elaine mentioned, she's still on here? Elaine Thomas.
Looks like it.
And she was asking about what do we do first? Do we find a buyer? And going back to the Elephant Challenge, part of why I was able to dispo my deal quickly was because from the first Elephant Challenge, I made a connection and rapport with one of my leaders, which was Myron Briley. You remember him and Don were part of our leaders at the time. And I had been connecting with him because I was trying to, learn underwriting. You remember those times. So in essence, I didn't realize it, but I was making a connection with a buyer. So in part of the Elephant Challenge, and the very first one that we did, that was one of the biggest things, which was to find a buyer. So when we're looking for a buyer, they're basically telling us, like, I hear you guys say, and I was the same way, like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. Like, we might say like, oh, it's a 3-2 or this or that or the other, and what area. But if we tried to go reverse engineer, which is what Privy was doing, was to find the hot areas, look at what's been going on, find houses that have been rehabbed and call on them and say, hey, I saw that you did this, are you, is that what you're still looking for? If I found something else. So then it becomes like, that's what you're hunting for, right? Because that they're actually going to buy. In my case, I just knew Myron from talking to him that he was looking for creative deals everywhere. And so going back to some of the things that Anthony was asking, and also Felipe on, well, what about these things? Or what about this paperwork? And what about that? I just my hunt was the Kevin Cho method, and I just made the rapport, and I actually didn't know, I hadn't written out an LOI. I hadn't made an official offer or anything to that nature. I just knew that this agent, I had gained some rapport, and she said that she thought that her seller would be interested. And so I said, great. I'm going to have my partner follow up with you. And it was I don't know if y'all remember if I said these details, but it was a sub 2 VA deal. And so Adam is a Marine. And so I know that if I would have gone a second call or a third call with her, I probably would have been able to explain everything, but I utilized his his experience and his background of being a Marine and in the military to connect with the agent and the seller because they were military, and there's that, you know, the brotherhood or whatever. So I was utilizing, trying to think, being resourceful, what could help get this done quicker, and it did. And once he told me that she was okay with it, I was already immediately asking, okay, she sent him the mortgage statement and everything, and I started underwriting it. And I was already calling Myron, basically just, again, not even to sell it, not even to dispo to him. That, I mean, yes and no. I was more like confirming with him as I'm still new. I'm still, you know, looking for confirmation that what I'm finding is in fact a deal, or, you know, it's good. And so when I had all the numbers and we went through all the things, and he's like, yeah, he was like, what do you want? Or what are you trying to do? And I even asked him, you know, like, well, I don't know, what should I ask for next time? He's like, you need to go with your partner and you need to look at your numbers and you need to come back confidently and just put it out there and just let me know, and, or, you know, whoever you're going to talk to. And so because I had been asking so many questions about underwriting, because I had been using him as a sounding board, and I was listening to things that he was saying, I knew I probably could have actually asked for a higher assignment, but you know, I was trying to be, I didn't want to be greedy. You know, I didn't want to be like, oh, let me just go for the gusto at the beginning. You know, I wanted to build a rapport with him. And I was thinking long-term, like, I want to continue to keep going to him. I want to continue to be, you know, have more deals. I'd rather say I had 15 deals that were, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 or 7,000, whatever, than one great big deal because when you're talking about credibility, also people are saying, how many deals do you? I'd rather say I closed 15 than one at this. Could have been a fluke, right? But anyway, I just wanted to address the buyer, or this, you know, what you're looking for, the paperwork. We're getting into the weeds of so much stuff. Just get the call, just get somebody to be interested. And then there's going to be somebody that you can go to ask, this is what's going on. Where do I go from here? Can you help me? You know, and just eliminate all of the reasons why we don't want to make the call. we can't dispo it if we can't acquire it, and we can't close it if we can't dispo it. So everything needs one or the other. So it's just, I don't know if that'll help, but I just wanted to let you know.
No, it's good stuff. I appreciate it. It's good stuff. Adriana, super great seeing you.
You too. You too. You're so busy.
I am getting busier. Yes. I have some awesome things going on, but such is life. When you're busy, you know, you got more stuff to do.
Yes. Yes.
I got cool buttons now.
You know your sound effects?
Got sound effect buttons. I'm trying to make them work, and lots of fun stuff going on. You know how things. Yep. Thank you, Adriana.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be here. You guys, if y'all want to hit me up, you know, you can Facebook me, Messenger, and just let me know that you saw me on here or whatever, and you want to connect or something to that effect.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Adriana, thanks for coming out. Everybody, if you need to get a hold of me, use my handle at the Rob Sema, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on Discord, same handle everywhere. Feel free to DM me, asking questions. I will do my best to get to you guys as quickly as I can, but you know, I got life and stuff going on too, but I'm happy to help and point you guys in the right direction. Have a great Thanksgiving week. Go and gain a bunch of weight. Go and eat a bunch of turkey and a bunch of whipped cream covered pumpkin pie. Oh man, I can't wait for it. I love it. Hope you guys are doing well. Take it easy. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.